So let's talk about soil. Soil is really important for a lot of different reasons. Most of the time if something is wrong with your plant, it honestly comes down to what's going on with your soil. So that being said, like, what makes soil so great? Well, one, it's where your plant gets its nutrients from. And two, by stabilizing that root system, you're encouraging like positive growth. So in those ways, that's what you're looking for when you're thinking about your soil. So what can make up soil, right? There's so many things. If you want to make your own potting mix, like, you have tons of options. So big one, most potting soils use like, so you have sphagnum moss. You see everybody with their like prop boxes, and it's full of like this like, you know, vanilla pudding-esque, you know, fluffy thing. And then I'm gonna be like, well, there's spag moss in potting soil. There's like different grades of spag moss, okay? So spag moss, they chop it up real fine and they throw that into your potting mix like Miracle-Gro. Tons of spag moss. If you feel it, like that fluffiness, same thing. That being said, spag moss is acidic. So if you get spag moss and you want to make your own, a lot of times people throw in limestone. Yikes. Limestone into their mix because the pH of spag moss is about 3, but the pH of limestone is like 6 or something. So that it evens them out to be closer to neutral. So you got spag moss. You can also use coconut coir, and coconut coir is a byproduct of the coconut industry. So you're reusing something that normally you would just throw away. It's a great substance. It acts a lot like spag moss. You know, it's light, it provides some aeration, but it can also hold nutrients and stabilize roots. Additionally, you could get into the nitty-gritty of the fact that like spag moss is a non-renewable resource, and coconut coir, you know, we got lots of it, and it's a byproduct, so we're twofer. But it is a tad more expensive right now, and that's just because it's newer, but you can buy like big bales and you just rehydrate it with some water, and it like fluffs up, you know, kind of like a chia pet, and you like crumble up and put it in your soil mix. 2 things. So the next one we can talk about is perlite. There's perlite and vermiculite. Perlite is heated up volcanic rock like a Rice Krispie, like boop, boop, and it contains a lot of air as it gets heated and expands, and then it provides air in our soil, and it's really lightweight. Vermiculite instead is a mineral, and we heat that too. It's just not volcanic rock. And then so you can use both of those for aeration. Some people honestly just use like worm castings, a little bit of spag moss, and perlite, and they use that as their growing media. So it's sustainable if you provide the right amount of nutrients for your soil anyways. So perlite, vermiculite. Then you can also have compost, right, to give your plants some nutrients, some nitrogen. You can do fertilizer. Fertilizer, most of the time when we speak about fertilizer, is in terms of phosphorus, potassium, nitrogen, and what that breaks down to. Your plant needs different things depending on what stage it's in. So like potassium is really great if we're trying to like, if we have like seeds, right? Or just those sorts of things. But you can put fertilizer in there. You can also do worm castings. Worm castings are really cool. It's a byproduct of worms or worm poo. But they have all the great things that compost do as far as nutrients and stuff like that. 1, 2, they're like little tiny things, and they kind of aerate your soil a little bit, adds a different texture in there. Love that. And then 3, sometimes it can be a deterrent for certain pests like spider mites or things like that. So really cool, love that. And then you can also use orchid bark, and I like orchid bark because it's like, if you think about your soil mix, you're having a lot of things in there that can kind of like compact down, which is great, right? You want the roots to feel stable, but then you throw in like bark or something, and you break it up, you provide some more air source, you provide further drainage for your plant. And the only thing to watch out with orchid bark is that it can leach some of the nitrogen away from your plant, but you can just supplement that with fertilizer. Sorry, Lucy's right here. Additionally, I use like pebbles. Like you can use pumice stone, and it's lightweight, right? Everybody's seen pumice stone, but they break them up into smaller, and they're a little bit smaller than bark. Provides like another sized item in there. And then I feel like I'm forgetting something. Perlite, vermiculite, limestone, peat moss, coconut coir, fertilizer, worm castings. Oh, sand. You can put sand in there too. So if you get something for like a succulent or a cactus blend, they're gonna have a lot of sand in there, and that's because of how well it provides drainage for your plant. I think if any of us, you pour some like water on sand and boom, it's gone. So that's really great, but then also it's another fine particle. So you have different particle sizes in your potting mix, and each of these provides drainage, provides air, provides nutrients, and you really, you just gotta go all on in your soil mix. Me, I kind of use a mix of all those guys. I use coconut coir more than I do, I use coconut coir. I hate Miracle-Gro, I'm sorry, but I use coconut coir and love, adding in some perlite, adding in some pumice stone, vermiculite, all that stuff is great.